It is not permissible to use a fork, crimp or stack-on with stranded wire on a receptacle that states copper wire only. Receptacle terminals are designed to be used with solid copper wire only. Stranded wire has multiple strands that can become loose over time, leading to a poor connection and potential safety hazard. Using a fork, crimp or stack-on with stranded wire on a receptacle that states copper wire only can result in loose connections, causing arcing and overheating, increased risk of electrical fires, damage to the receptacle and connected devices, and voiding of electrical warranties. To correctly connect stranded wire to a receptacle, firstly, use a wire nut. Twist the stranded wire strands together and secure them with a wire nut. Secondly, use a crimp terminal. Crimp a solderless crimp terminal onto the stranded wire and insert it into the receptacle terminal. Thirdly, use a pressure wire connector. These connectors clamp down on the stranded wire, providing a secure connection. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions when installing electrical devices and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any concerns. Let's delve deeper into the reasons why using stranded wire directly on receptacles marked for solid copper wire is problematic and explore the recommended alternatives in more detail. The primary concern is the integrity of the electrical connection. Solid copper wire, being a single, solid conductor, makes consistent and reliable contact with the receptacle terminal when properly installed. The flat surface of the solid wire conforms well to the terminal, providing a large contact area for current flow. Stranded wire, on the other hand, consists of numerous thin strands of copper bundled together. While this construction offers flexibility, it also presents challenges for making a secure and lasting connection. When a stranded wire is clamped directly under a screw terminal without proper preparation, several issues can arise. 1. The individual strands can splay out and become loose, reducing the effective contact area. 2. The pressure from the screw can deform the strands, creating uneven contact and potential hotspots. 3. The strands are more susceptible to corrosion and oxidation, further degrading the connection over time. These factors can lead to increased resistance at the connection point, causing it to heat up. This phenomenon, known as resistive heating, can escalate into arcing, where electricity jumps across a gap in the connection, creating a spark. Arcing is a significant fire hazard as it generates intense heat and can ignite nearby flammable materials. In addition to the fire risk, a loose or corroded connection can also cause malfunctions in the connected devices. Voltage drops can occur, leading to dimming lights, flickering screens, or erratic operation of appliances. In severe cases, the device may simply stop working altogether. The potential damage to the receptacle itself is also a concern. Overheating can melt the plastic housing, damage the internal components, and render the receptacle unusable. Furthermore, using unapproved methods for connecting stranded wire can void the manufacturer's warranty on the receptacle and any connected devices. Now let's examine the recommended alternatives for connecting stranded wire to receptacles designed for solid copper wire. The first option, using wire nuts, is a common and relatively simple method. Wire nuts are insulated connectors that twist onto the ends of wires to create a secure connection. To use wire nuts properly with stranded wire, follow these steps. 1. Strip the insulation from the ends of the wires to be connected, exposing about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of bare wire. 2. Twist the strands of the stranded wire tightly together to create a compact bundle. 3. Hold the wires parallel to each other with the ends aligned. 4. Push the wires into the wire nut and twist the wire nut clockwise until the wires are tightly twisted together inside the nut. 5. Tug on each wire individually to ensure that the connection is secure. It's important to choose the correct size of wire nut for the number and gauge of wires being connected. The wire nut manufacturer's instructions will provide guidance on this. Using the wrong size wire nut can result in a loose or inadequate connection. The second option, using crimp terminals, provides a more professional and reliable connection. Crimp terminals, also known as solderless connectors, are metal sleeves that are crimped onto the end of a wire to create a secure mechanical and electrical connection. To use crimp terminals properly with stranded wire, follow these steps. 1. Strip the insulation from the end of the wire, exposing the correct length of bare wire as specified by the terminal manufacturer. 2. Insert the bare wire into the crimp terminal. 3. Use a crimping tool to crimp the terminal onto the wire. It's crucial to use the correct crimping tool for the type and size of terminal being used. Using the wrong tool can result in a weak or unreliable crimp. 4. After crimping, inspect the connection to ensure that the terminal is securely attached to the wire. There should be no loose strands or gaps in the crimp. 5. Insert the crimped terminal into the receptacle terminal and tighten the screw. Crimp terminals come in various shapes and sizes, including ring terminals, spade terminals, and fork terminals. Choose the appropriate type of terminal for the receptacle terminal being used. The third option, using pressure wire connectors, is a relatively new technology that offers a convenient and reliable way to connect stranded wire. Pressure wire connectors, also known as push-in connectors or lever connectors, use spring-loaded clamps to grip the wire and create a secure connection. To use pressure wire connectors properly with stranded wire, follow these steps. 1. Strip the insulation from the end of the wire, exposing the correct length of bare wire as specified by the connector manufacturer. 2. Insert the bare wire into the connector until it bottoms out. Some connectors have levers that need to be opened before inserting the wire and then closed to secure the connection. 3. Tug on the wire to ensure that the connection is secure. Pressure wire connectors are available in various sizes and configurations to accommodate different numbers and gauges of wires. They are particularly useful in situations where space is limited or where frequent connections and disconnections are required. It's important to note that all electrical work should be performed in accordance with the National Electrical Code or NEC and any local electrical codes. The NEC provides detailed requirements for wiring methods, materials, and installation practices. It's also essential to follow the manufacturer's instructions for all electrical devices and components. These instructions provide specific guidance on how to install and use the products safely and effectively. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, or if you have any questions about electrical safety, it's always best to consult with a qualified electrician. A licensed electrician has the knowledge, skills, and experience to perform electrical work safely and in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. They can also help you troubleshoot electrical problems and ensure that your electrical system is functioning properly. In summary, connecting stranded wire directly to receptacles designed for solid copper wire is not permitted due to the potential for loose connections, arcing, and electrical fires. Instead, use one of the recommended alternatives such as wire nuts, crimp terminals, or pressure wire connectors. Always follow the NEC and the manufacturer's instructions and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any concerns. By taking these precautions, you can ensure the safety and reliability of your electrical system. When dealing with electrical connections, safety should always be the top priority. Electrical shock and electrocution are serious hazards that can result in injury or death. Before working on any electrical circuit, always turn off the power at the breaker box or fuse box. Use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is energized before touching any wires or component. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as insulated gloves and safety glasses. Never work on electrical circuits in wet or damp conditions. Avoid wearing jewelry or other metallic objects that could come into contact with live wires. If you are unsure about any aspect of electrical work, seek the assistance of a qualified electrician. Remember, electricity is a powerful force that must be treated with respect. By following safe practices and using the correct methods and materials, you can minimize the risks and ensure a safe and reliable electrical system. Let's talk about wire gauges. Wire gauge refers to the diameter of the wire. In North America, the American wire gauge or AWG system is used. The smaller the AWG number, the larger the wire diameter. For example, 12 AWG wire is larger than 14 AWG wire. The wire gauge is important because it determines the amount of current that the wire can safely carry. The NEC provides tables that specify the allowable ampacities of different wire gauges based on the type of insulation and the installation conditions. It's crucial to use the correct wire gauge for the circuit to prevent overheating and potential fire hazards. When connecting wires, it's also important to ensure that the wire gauges are compatible. Connecting a smaller gauge wire to a larger gauge wire can create a bottleneck in the circuit and cause the smaller wire to overheat. If you need to connect wires of different gauges, use a connector that is specifically designed for that purpose. Another important consideration is the type of insulation on the wire. The insulation provides a protective barrier that prevents the wire from coming into contact with other conductors or grounded surfaces. Different types of insulation have different temperature ratings and resistance to moisture, chemicals, and abrasion. Common types of insulation include thermoplastic high heat resistant nylon coated or THHN, thermoplastic heat resistant or THW, and cross-linked polyethylene or XLP. The type of insulation you choose will depend on the application and the environmental conditions. For example, THHN wire is commonly used for general-purpose wiring in dry locations, while THW wire is suitable for use in wet or damp locations. XLP wire has a higher temperature rating and is often used for underground wiring. When working with electrical wires, it's important to handle them carefully to avoid damaging the insulation. Avoid bending or kinking the wires excessively, and be careful not to nick or cut the insulation when stripping the wires. Damaged insulation can create a path for current leakage and increase the risk of electrical shock. In addition to wire gauges and insulation types, there are also different types of cables used in electrical wiring. Cable consists of two or more wires bundled together inside a protective jacket. Common types of cables include non-metallic sheathed cable or NM cable, underground feeder cable or UF cable, and armored cable or AC cable. NM cable, also known as Romex, is commonly used for interior wiring in residential buildings. It consists of 2 or 3 insulated wires and a bare ground wire inside a plastic jacket. UF cable is designed for underground installations and is resistant to moisture and sunlight. It consists of insulated wires inside a waterproof jacket. AC cable, also known as BX cable, consists of insulated wires wrapped in a flexible metal armor. It's often used in commercial and industrial buildings where greater protection from physical damage is required. When installing cables, it's important to follow the NEC requirements for support and protection. Cables must be properly secured to prevent them from sagging or rubbing against sharp edges. They must also be protected from physical damage by using conduit or other approved methods. Conduit is a rigid or flexible tube that is used to enclose and protect electrical wires and cables. Common types of conduit include rigid metal conduit or RMC, intermediate metal conduit or IMC, electrical metallic tubing or EMT, and flexible metal conduit or FMC. RMC and IMC are typically used for outdoor or underground installations where maximum protection is required. EMT is a lightweight conduit that is commonly used for interior wiring in commercial and industrial buildings. FMC is a flexible conduit that is used for connecting equipment that is subject to movement or vibration. When installing conduit, it's important to use the correct fittings and connectors to ensure a watertight and secure connection. The NEC provides detailed requirements for conduit installation, including the maximum number of wires that can be installed in a given size of conduit. In addition to wires, cables, and conduit, there are also various types of electrical boxes used in wiring systems. Electrical boxes are enclosures that protect wiring connections and provide a mounting point for devices such as receptacles, switches, and light fixtures. Common types of electrical boxes include metal boxes, plastic boxes, and surface mount boxes. Metal boxes are typically used in commercial and industrial buildings where greater protection from fire and physical damage is required. Plastic boxes are commonly used in residential buildings because they are lightweight and easy to install. Surface mount boxes are used when it's not possible to install a box inside a wall or ceiling. When installing electrical boxes, it's important to ensure that they are properly grounded. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping the circuit breaker and preventing electrical shock. The NEC requires that all metal electrical boxes be grounded, and it also recommends grounding plastic boxes. Grounding can be accomplished by connecting a grounding wire to the box or by using a self-grounding receptacle or switch. Electrical safety is a complex topic, and it's important to stay up to date on the latest codes and regulations. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and it's essential to be familiar with the most recent edition. There are also numerous training courses and certifications available for electricians and other electrical professionals. These courses can help you develop the knowledge and skills you need to perform electrical work safely and effectively.